Today's episode is sponsored by Raul Rodriguez Law.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Leija Lounge. We got some hot topics to cover today, as we always do. First off, boxing news, right? We have a big fight card coming up July 19th. We're seeing Mario Barrios fighting Manny Pacquiao. Big fight announcement. Pacquiao coming out of retirement. 4 years out of retirement. We said he's how old now?
46 years young.
62?
66, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How old is he?
64. No, he's 46.
46.
Yep.
Well,
the
that's
Philippines.
46 human years. So in
Yes.
fighting years, it's
Fighting
probably...
years, it's
120.
Yeah.
Training years, training and fighting, and it's a lot.
It's
more.
a lot, right, James?
His body's a lot more. Yeah, he's great athlete.
one of the best fighters.
Best fighter, but still,
But I'm like,
we
why?
always say this: no matter what, Father Time's undefeated.
Yes.
Now,
Time
we were talking
Father
about
time is undefeated.
we were talking about off camera. Mark brought up the question of why.
Yes.
Why even do it? Why? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, only because when he was around at our gym training for a couple of weeks and hanging around him, and
that was prime Pacquiao, by the way.
yeah, it's prime Pacquiao. Yeah, it's great. He's great guy, great everything. But one thing is his entourage is huge, and he walks around with these guys. They're around him all the time. He pays for everybody's hotel, everybody's food, everybody's travel, and they're always around him. And I don't think he's changed. It's still the same thing. And when he's back home, he's giving money to all these different foundations or whatever. He's just helping everyone out. And money is going to run out after a while.
Could this be the same predicament Mayweather's in?
I don't
A
know.
lot of overhead.
Mayweather has a lot of overhead, but not as much as Pacquiao. Pacquiao has a group of guys, at least 20.
But you hear like Mayweather, he bought a whole a whole
block
apartment
in New York.
lot in New York.
400 million or something like
his portfolio is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
So I think he's
yeah.
finally starting to make the right.
It's not the
right
same.
moves.
It's not the same as Pacquiao. Pacquiao, and maybe he doesn't. He wants to help people out and give people money away, and he's going to fight for it because he can and make money. That's part of it. But man, I mean, at 46 years old,
It's not. I mean, he could have jumped in and fought a Joe Blow, but he's fighting Mario Barrios.
Mario
which,
Barrios. Yeah,
I mean,
what, 32?
San Antonio.
30. I
don't know how old Barrios
imagine
is.
probably 30, 31 maybe.
Yeah.
29. I think he might be my age.
And
Now, but at the same time, he's coming off a 4-year layoff, right?
Yeah.
Which is,
4-year layoff?
4 years.
He fought on the Mike Tyson card, didn't he?
Pacquiao?
Oh, Pacquiao. Sorry, they're talking about Barrios.
No, Pacquiao's coming off a 4-year retirement, right? Which we always say,
Ugas was his last fight. He lost to Ugas.
yeah.
But he had that exhibition bout in Japan. He fought a guy who looked just like
that's
Barrios.
exhibition, right? That's like
It's exhibition, but I mean they weren't just pulling their punches.
The
They
guy
were,
was a karate guy.
and I heard Pacquiao only had like 3 weeks to prepare, 2
Yeah.
weeks to prepare. So no, that guy was a real. I mean, he wasn't no prospect,
Boxer,
but
but-
he looked. His body, his length, everything looked like Barrios. And this was back when they were already talking about him and Barrios fighting.
now the only thing that I can see that could be a positive. Well, first off, we always say in boxing, if you take a year off, that's 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a month off, that's 2 months. You always double that time. So in boxing, it's like 8 years.
8 years.
8 years that you
removed.
feel that you've been out. You know what I mean? You got to get that rhythm back. Unless Dean's saying, he's been active, he's been in exhibitions, whatever. I'm sure he's sparring somewhat, but again, the only thing that I can see that's going for Pacquiao is he's not in there with a bruiser. He's not in there with someone who's going to take his damn head off. And Mario Barrios, Barrios is a slower pace fighter.
He'll keep you on the outside.
He'll keep you on the outside. He'll use his length. From my perspective, I think Pacquiao is going to probably be the one pushing the fight. Maybe he walks into something. Barrios is good. I'm not saying he's a world champion. I'm not saying he's great or whatever, but definitely I can see Pacquiao winning the fight. I could see him winning the fight. Even with his age, I could still see him landing that punch.
Especially if he goes to the judges.
Yeah. I mean,
Ay.
you never know. You never know how that one goes. Do you give the old
What kind of glasses are the judges are wearing?
Yeah. Do you give the Hall of Famer the fight, or do you give it to this,
And it's for the crazy thing for me, I think it's for a WBC belt. Like that's
so if
pretty crazy to
Pacquiao
me.
does win, what happens there? Who does he fight then? Right? Like he's back in I think they already ranked him at number 5. He already put him at number 5.
Wow.
So it's insane, right? It's kind of a crazy thing. That's a lot of respect for a guy.
Well, that tells me if he's already ranked number 5, because they need to legitimize this fight some way, somehow. But if he's already ranked, and you're right, if he happens to win this
His
belt,
last exhibition fight got him ranked.
maybe so.
No,
I mean,
it's just of who he is and what he's capable of doing, and he's still one of the best fighters in the world. But
8 division world champ.
he's 46 years old, and that's in human years, but in fighting years or in dog years, he's probably 86.
It's retired years, retired years is a
retired
lot.
years as well. Yeah.
And that's hard to come off.
It's a lot of icy hot right there.
Yeah, I mean, you've been relaxing, you've been taking it easy, your feet have been up. That's a lot. It's hard to come back from.
Mario Barrios is a fighter too, man. He's gonna take
But
it to him.
to argue that point, to say Pacquiao does have a point. Barrios did get dropped. What's his last fight? That was
On that card, on the Mike Tyson card in Dallas.
Ramos. Abel
He
Ramos?
fought that guy, Abel Ramos, who fought Figueroa that one time,
Yeah.
right? And we're like, oh, Barrios going to get him back, whatever.
And Barrios escaped with that fight.
Yeah.
He did get dropped really well.
maybe that was a wake up call he needed too. It's all in the training, right? And I mean, this match on paper, is it kind of like an even match? Maybe
I would say it's even.
on paper.
On paper, I'd
Yeah.
say it's even just because I know the fight styles.
Yes.
But, I could still see Barrios being the big favorite, of course, right? But at the same time, you got Pacquiao in there. You got someone who may just see this as his last fight. Pacquiao's last big fight was Ugas, and he came off a loss. That was supposed to be Errol Spence. I don't know. I just don't know how this one goes, That's I wouldn't say it's so lopsided as a Tyson and Jake Paul. It's not that. You know what I mean? This is definitely competitive. This is more competitive of a fight. But you don't know how it goes. How do you give it to the older Pacquiao? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll be watching.
But that whole day, July 19th, is just super packed with fights. It's not on the same card, but you got Barrios and Pacquiao. You got Tim Tszyu in the Fundora rematch, right? That was the bloodbath, the first one.
Yeah.
I think,
Due
for
to
me,
a headbutt, right?
No, it was an elbow. He
Elbow,
got him,
elbow.
Not an elbow, forearm. He got the forearm
Yeah.
to the head, opened up Tim Tszyu, bloodbath. Fundora was cut too. That's a tough fight.
Son of Costa Tszyu, who my dad fought.
Yeah, son of Costas, you world champion from Australia. I think we're fans of Tim Tszyu. I think we root for Tim Tszyu.
Tim Tszyu might.
He's a tough fighter, really tough fighter. Me personally, I don't think he has the skills to compete with like top notch guys. I think he's a good fighter, not necessarily a boxer, but I think we go for Tim Tszyu just because there's history there, and I think
There's
it's just
history there, but I also, hung out with, Fundora's a great guy. Young
Fundora's
guy.
great.
Him and his sister are both world champions. They're both, I think, out of California. I may be wrong, but just good kids. Just real respectable and funny to hang around with and be around. So
they're definitely characters.
they're really good for the sport of boxing.
Yeah,
Really good.
they're fun. I feel like him and his sister
They're
like
Fundora.
Fun. Fun.
But yeah,
was
that's gonna
too
be a
easy.
great
Yeah,
fight.
yeah.
If it's anything like the first fight, it's gonna be really entertaining. I think Tim Tszyu was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight. One time, he was supposed to fight Keith Thurman on that fight. Keith Thurman got injured,
Right.
fell out of the fight, and then you come in and replace him with Fundora, who's just a
6'6".
that's just an
154 pounder.
anomaly, right? So there was no way Tim Tszyu could really fully prepare for that.
6'6", 154 pounder who likes to fight on the inside.
How do you prepare for that?
Was why they got caught with the forearm or
Yeah.
elbow.
Yeah.
So that's a hard person to spar for, a hard person to train for. You got to
Totally
find a
different
guy
style.
like that. So again, the on that first fight, the odds were stacked against Tim Tszyu. He put up a great fight until there was so much blood. I think that fight got stopped. I'm not too sure. I think it did get stopped. However, went to the cards and Fundora won, something like that. But it was a really big bloodbath. Both guys were just pouring blood. And I'm excited to see that fight. That's a good,
Very good
entertaining fight.
Yeah.
I think that's on the same card as the Pacquiao fight, I believe. I want to say. Then you have the Bam Rodriguez against
Cafu.
Kafu, which
Bless
we
you.
don't, which we don't, usually know. But again,
I've seen that name before. I mean, I should know the guy, but just you don't watch enough highlight tape on him, so I don't. Not really familiar
Who's he
with his
fighting?
style.
Bam.
Rodriguez.
Bam
from
Rodriguez.
San
Fighting
Antonio.
who?
Cafu.
Bless you.
Yes.
Yeah, which has been, Bam Rodriguez, a former guest on our show. First episode, right? I think whenever Bam fights, it's just an exciting fight for the city to watch. See some excellence, see some greatness.
And people probably don't know this, but Bam Rodriguez is one or two of the top pound for pound fighters in the world, the best. One or two, and I would argue he's number one.
And again, it's these whole things of the lower weight classes don't get their shine, right?
Yeah.
And you could put him up there with anybody skill wise. I think he's just he's
my
up
favorite
there.
fighter right now.
Yeah.
Easily.
Mine as well.
Easily.
Yeah, and
He's
it,
exciting to watch.
Yeah.
very exciting to watch. Even when we were there in Vegas, we saw him fight on the Canelo Triple G 3 undercard. It was exciting. It was an exciting fight for us to go see.
Yeah, he's just a good. He's just.
I don't know what it
very
is
skilled.
too. You watch him and just because he's from the city, we don't. I mean, know him in a personal level, but you just feel like it's one of your own in there, and you guys get those butterflies again. Like like how you would fight. I would be sick, but feel the same way about Bam too. You have that relationship just because he's from here.
Yeah.
So you're like, man, you get
Now,
those
where are
butterflies.
these fights taking place at?
I don't know. Those two. I think there's two different fight cards. I'm not sure where they're taking place, but it's a full day. Like the July 19th is just a full night of fights. Two different fight cards, I believe. Maybe
So
three.
that means if it's full day, that means two different times or several different time zones.
It could be.
So it could be one overseas someplace and then here.
It could be. Yeah, I think Bam Rodriguez. Like I agree with you, is probably one of the top, if not the top, pound for pound fighter. Going up there against like guys like Inoue, right? He's like those are the skill levels that we're talking about.
Do you think we'll ever see that fight?
I think so. I think Bam Rodriguez strikes me as the guy that wants to take on the best.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's proven it. You know what I mean? I think he can stand up there. Inoue may be a reach. That may
And
be a
Bam's
tough one.
promoter was Eddie Hearn?
Yes.
Or,
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and
Not true.
it's just it's a good thing to see. I think Bam Rodriguez is one of the top guys in the sport, but also right now from San Antonio, the guy that's really pushing us forward. He's the guy that's representing us the way we want to be represented.
Yeah.
Right.
He fights frequently too. He's
He's fighting everybody. He's not just cherry picking. He initially started off fighting the top guys, the strongest guys. You know what I mean? The Francisco Estradas and all these guys. He was fighting the top guys.
Bam lives up to, if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. That's what he does.
The legend killer, legend slayer. What do they call him?
Legend killer. Yeah, that's just what it is. That's his reputation so far. And now he's the legend.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the future potential Hall of Famer at that weight. So we'll kind of see where that one goes.
I think we need to take, before, if we get a chance, we should take the podcast to 8 Ball Coffee and do it there with Bam and his surrounding. He's having his little coffee. We're sampling coffee, and then we're just talking to him about the fight.
Yeah, that'd be good.
talking about coffee.
Yeah, talking about
Not
coffee.
the fight. Just talking about coffee.
Yeah, everything else but the fight.
There's another fight on there. There's Alexander Usyk against Dubois.
Daniel Dubois.
And
The guy who just recently knocked out Anthony Joshua cold.
Oh, that's
Cold.
Right. That's a big guy.
Yeah. And versus Usyk, who's undisputed, right? He's undisputed right now.
I would say one of the more skilled. He's a heavyweight? Is that
Yeah.
heavyweight? I would say one of the more skilled heavyweights in the game right now. I don't necessarily like his game. I don't necessarily like his fight style, but can't deny with the success he's had. You know what I mean? Can't deny that's going to be a good fight.
That should be a great fight because, again, Usyk versus Fury. The last fight, Fury is really putting it on him in the beginning of the fight. Then Usyk just kind of just turned it on towards like 6, 7.
He's a relentless guy. He keeps coming forward the
Yeah.
whole time. I put pressure on you.
There's training video of him where he's training, and anytime his back touched the ropes, it would add like another round to whatever he was doing. So like any moment, and that's just how he fights. He moves. He's always on his feet, throwing these little punches. They're not gonna knock you out, but just the
wear you out.
relentless.
He'll wear you
He'll
out.
wear you out.
Yeah.
Hopefully these fights live up to the hype. Like we said the last podcast with the New York fights and the Canelo fight, it was just a snooze fest.
Maybe this is boxing's redemption, no doubt, right? I mean, it's still one of the best sports to see.
Definitely.
Right, and be a part of, and like you guys said, that the last one, man, it just gives people more ammunition to talk about boxing, right? That it's kind of, is it there already?
Yeah.
But if you have some great fights out of this one here, July 19th.
I mean, we're halfway through the year and we've already seen some amazing fight cards. You know what I
Right.
mean? Some of them just haven't lived up to the hype, but man, they're definitely setting them up. You know what I mean? This is coach's pitch, and we're just like boxing is just missing a little bit. Hopefully, this July 19th day lives
Yeah,
up to the
I
hype.
think it will.
That's awesome.
You know, that's boxing news. We got San Antonio Spurs news. We're getting the second pick in the draft, right?
And
What
the
were y'all
and
thinking?
the 14th.
And the 14th, and we got the 30 something pick.
Yeah, we
One
got
of
some
those.
picks. We got some picks.
What were y'all thinking when that? What were you thinking when that? You know,
I don't know. I there's so many different options that the Spurs can take, and the best thing we can do is just trust RC, trust Pop, trust the whole staff, because what may look like a crazy idea or a selection or something that may look crazy to us, they've proven us wrong already by just showing they know what they're doing. They're there for a reason. So they've made a lot of crazy picks in the past. One just recently, they picked Stephon Castle rather than Rob Dillingham, and some people had mixed reviews about it, but obviously I think it turned out pretty well.
yeah.
But I just think there's so many options. Are we going to keep those picks? Are we going to trade it? People keep saying Giannis. Obviously, he fits perfectly with the system, but it's just a lot of that's a huge jump, and we don't really need that right now.
Yeah.
You know, we want to keep our pieces, and I don't know. We'll see. It's a lot of options.
It seems like a little bit of a short-term move if we do the Giannis move.
Yeah, because after a while, he will probably, depending on the contract, he'll demand a max. You know, then you got Wemby. He might come off his rookie year contract. He was going to get the max. Stephon Castle. You know, there's a lot of money to be thrown if we jump in with that Giannis pick. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And again, I think as Spurs, we got to be open-minded to the fact that as Spurs fans, we got to be open-minded to the moves like you're saying that they might make. We could trade that second pick. It'd be weird. It wouldn't be a Spurs move, but it's happened before when we got Kawhi Leonard for George Hill. The city exploded off that one. George Hill was a fan favorite, and we're giving up a fan favorite for Kawhi Leonard. Who is this? San Diego State? Who is this guy? You know what I mean? And like Mark, we were saying, we got a title out of it, but we also got
some headaches.
we got a headache out of it too, right? We got a title, but at the same time, we kind of got a bad taste in our
It
mouth.
kind of didn't work out in the end.
In the
Started-
end, right.
started
I mean,
well,
I don't know. You got championships. So
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
you got then. You know, he leaves.
I think the headache. I mean, again, so right after that, he left. Kawhi left. We have like a tanking, 2-3 years, tanking years, and all of a sudden we get Wemby again.
Yeah.
You know, not exactly in that short time frame, but you know, a lot of other teams they tank for decades.
Well, that just
You know.
tells you there's a lot of outside forces that you can't control.
Exactly.
Right.
And you're right, Dean. We have to trust in El Jefe.
Every time I see RC in the
Ryan Wright and
the
RC.
Spurs games, I just start doing this number right here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, he definitely they work hard, and we just have to trust in what they're gonna do. What did you do? Did you watch it live? or-
No, I didn't
No.
watch it live. I was on my phone. What was I doing? I forgot what I think I was in Houston.
Oh yeah, you weren't.
I was in Houston.
Yeah, I was watching live, and I was just like, "Oh
I
my
didn't
god!"
see it. I
Like
didn't see it. I didn't know until afterwards.
when
So-
they were saying the Spurs are going to be
crazy.
in the top 4, I was shitting bricks.
Yeah, I know, right? It's that break. So they go 14, and they go fast.
Yeah.
But what I didn't know is that whole segment was pre-shot already,
Was
just
it?
a little bit earlier. It wasn't live. It was tape. It was filmed live to tape, and then they ran it as if they were live.
The
and
front
it's
office-
just by a few minutes.
Yeah.
And so all of the executives, the reporters are there. I mean, they can't report on anything until basically they're embargoed. They can't say anything until it's done. So, but then in quick order, starts number 14. Deputy commissioner's there, does his thing. He does a nice job, and it goes 14 to number 5, and then there's commercial break. It's like it seems like forever because then your team is one of the 4 there.
Yeah.
You're like, please come back out of the commercial. Let's find out where we are. And so I'll give you my take on it here, but I'm curious. I'm curious to learn yours. Like they come back out of commercial break now with a 4th pick. Walk me through what are you thinking?
He had his thumb in his mouth. Just rocking like this.
Yeah, that's basically it. I was watching it. My wife was in the other room, and I was just screaming. Right, I was just like, "Come on!" And I knew it was going to be us or Dallas. I just had that feeling. where
Really?
it's us or Dallas, right? Because Dallas is in that. They hadn't been called, right, and they have the least amount of opportunity, but or the least percentage chance to get it. But it just seems like that's. I don't want to say it's rigged, but with all the stuff that's been going on with Dallas right now,
That's what I was about to say is, how did that happen?
And then when you look back at history and you say, okay, well, Pelicans give up their rights to some who was
Chris
that
Paul, I
Chris
believe.
Paul
Yes.
to LA, and then they get the first pick, and it's just been happening. You
Right.
you
Yes.
sacrifice to LA and you get the first pick.
Yeah.
You know, it would just seem like kismet. You know what I mean? And it was just a weird one. I can't imagine what Dallas is going through right now. But when we got that second pick, I was just like, and the first thing that popped in mind was Giannis.
Okay, so now
You know,
they pick number 4. All right,
mm-hmm.
we're 1 of 3.
I'm thinking
They pick
we're,
number 3, and now it's, dude, we got the number 1 again.
I'm thinking
like,
we're 1.
yes.
I'm thinking we're
I'm
one.
thinking that too, just like for a little bit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. I'm thinking we got Cooper Flag, Wemby,
Yeah.
Castle.
The
we got
script couldn't be written any better. But you talk about conspiracy theories. If that were to happen, wow.
yeah. You know what I mean? And how can you argue that it's not rigged right now, right? But at the same time, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it kind of brought a balance to the lay of the land as far as Texas basketball, right? Dallas, I don't know. You're giving up Luka for the number 1 pick. It just seems like it balanced out. It seems like Nico Harrison is a genius right now.
Yeah.
When before people wanted his head, and I don't know. It's just so hard to read.
He said he got his life saved by that pick.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know.
If Cooper Flag has a good year, I mean, I don't know if he's good. I mean, right? He should have.
I mean, he was putting it on those USA guys. Like he was working them.
He was.
He looked good, but
Reminds me of Bird, man. Right? Just
Yeah.
Larry Loco.
yeah. I mean, but if he does that, look at what Dallas is surrounded with. Holy smokes, man!
Yeah.
They're loaded. And all of a sudden, Nico Harrison's like,
He's probably over there saying, "I told you."
yeah,
Right, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. How do you script that? How do you? They were calling for his job, right? At the end of the season, and now he's looking like a genius. Like he's gonna pick. He has the number 1 pick. It's the first time they've won the lottery.
yeah.
You know, it's an amazing thing to see the lay of the land. How could you
Do
not
you
say
buy
that?
any?
Maybe they trade their.
That's
pick.
what they're saying. That's what they're saying. What would happen now if they traded?
Maybe
for a
they'll
big
trade
guy?
to LA to get Luka
That's
back.
what I heard. That's what I heard. They're going. No,
I heard a meme about that.
They want
Or
to
saw a
trade
meme.
to. That's what I saw too. They want to trade to LA.
That'd be the worst thing. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Luka back.
Hey, but you guys wanted him back.
Yeah.
He's here.
You can't be mad at me now.
Yeah, right.
I did what y'all wanted me to.
Yeah,
They
right.
fired him.
Oh, you want this number 1 pick or you want Luka, right?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, I mean, good for them. It would have been unreal had we got.
No, I don't like good for them. I don't like Dallas.
Hey, but you know what? Dallas
Dallas.
needs some help, man. Because with all this for the last 30 years, the Cowboys they need something.
They need something to be proud
They
of.
need something to cheer
something,
up.
They also got the number 1 WNBA pick. So Dallas has got the first 2 picks in WNBA and the
Wow,
NBA.
I didn't know
Talk about conspiracy.
Talk about conspiracy. And
Some-
the Dallas
somebody's
Stars are still in the
doing some
playoffs, so
Yeah. Somebody's selling their soul out there.
you know, still the Cowboys are still kind of struggling, but
Is it too early right now to make a finals pick for this year's?
I've been saying Spurs since forever.
No,
so-
this year. For this year.
For
The finals are
finals?
still going on.
Oh, for this year.
I think all that candy got to you.
I know. I don't know.
Have you been keeping up?
I've been keeping up a little bit. I like Minnesota, the Timberwolves. I like the Timberwolves.
You
a
like
lot.
Edwards?
Oh
That
man, he's
guy's-
a beast. He's a beast.
right?
Michael
Edwards.
Jordan's son.
For me, I'd love New York. New York's playing so
Yeah.
hard.
I like to see New York do it too.
You know, I just think that
Can
team
Minnesota
is
and New
loaded.
York play each other? Are
Yeah,
they in
Western
this-
Conference, Eastern Conference.
Okay, wow, that'd be a great.
Wait,
Yeah.
yeah,
that'd be a great.
yeah.
I mean, New
finals.
York is just. I mean, they won't go away.
I mean, they're 3-2 against Boston right now.
They
I think what it is.
Wow.
yeah. I mean, they won't go away. Just when you think that they're done, they come back.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean,
knows?
this is
Indiana looks good, man.
this episode's gonna air a week later, so who knows? Maybe they do move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. New York, they eliminate Boston by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
But Jalen Brunson is just amazing. He just feels like that guy is just can't miss. Like he's box office.
Yeah.
You know, and the way that New York's playing right now, it just seems like it's their year. About time, right?
I hope it is. I
About
hope it is.
time. I mean,
New York needed something to cheer about.
They
man.
do, man.
For sure, and why not basketball, right? I mean, it's a mecca right there. But seeing who went down for Boston,
Jalen,
Tatum.
Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum going down with
He's
Achilles tear. You know, that just kind of cemented Boston's.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's some
right
talks. I
there.
watched this on YouTube yesterday about, again, all the different options the Spurs can take. Boston at this point right now, I mean, you got Tatum out. He's probably going to be out for majority or if not all of this coming year. And so that little bunch may break apart. I'm sure they're going to explore their options on Boston's end. I would love to get Derek White back.
He's playing amazing.
Derek White, imagine Derek White, a huge fan of Naz Reid from Minnesota. I think he's still playing in Minnesota. I think. Naz Reid, who's again another perfect fit for the Spurs. But Derek White, imagine having him back. That'd be amazing.
Derek White's
But
almost
we
like
have 2 point guards, don't we now?
Oh, he's not. I wouldn't call him a point guard.
he's like a floater.
He's a floater. I mean, he hits the three. His defense is unbelievable, and he's a beast. So when I saw that opportunity, I was like, man, that'd be pretty cool to have.
It was one of those things, like whenever I see Derek White play, I'm always reminded of him being at the Spurs, and he's the guy that, to be a little candid, he's the guy that that RC was approached you about to kind of get him mentally tough. No, I'm not exposing too much, but he was they were saying he was going through a bit of an identity crisis. How did he get to the NBA? When he was with the Spurs, it was kind of like,
and you can't blame him. This story is unbelievable.
Yeah. And
unbelievable.
It was just one of those things of he had an identity crisis of how did I get here? And I'm not saying it's all us or whatever, but we definitely helped in that sense of toughening him up a little bit. He was coming into the gym a lot, training with him, and you could see a change there. You know what I mean? Just like, okay, well, when you get guys in the ring, you really see what they're about.
We almost beat it out of him, right? Remember, we're in the ring with him, and I'm hitting him with mitts and making him move and wearing him out, and he never stopped fighting or fighting back until the round was done, and he just lay over because he just gave everything he had, never gave up. Some of the other guys that we won't mention their names, some of them would never even step into the gym because. Can't say it. Would never even step into the gym because they don't want to go through that type of workout.
Yeah.
But a lot of the guys, White and
Lonnie was like
Lonnie. They were in there all the time, religiously fighting hard and doing everything they could to get better at basketball.
Yeah, and you see where they're at right now. Like Lonnie's with Philadelphia. He made a trip overseas, came back. I would love to get him on the podcast. I might reach out to him. Derek White, I just always love seeing him succeed just because I knew where he was coming from.
Where he started from.
He's a good person.
So if go and playing with that a little bit because I'm going to throw you a curveball and I want to hear your opinion. So he's probably in that, I forget what they call it. It's like the $10 million. I forget. That's not the mid-level exemption. They call it something.
Right.
But it's like $10 million they got. So would you rather pay Derek White the $10 million or whatever the number is? Or would you rather get one more year? Chris Paul, you can't have both. Either one. What say you?
Chris Paul, he accomplished his job for this year for his contract, which was, get Stephon Castle where he needs to be, right? He did that beautifully. Coached the team on the floor. He did that beautifully. He built a great camaraderie with the guys and showed them what winning basketball looks like. And what the structure is, how you're supposed to treat your job. He did that, you know what I mean? And it should carry on. These guys are professional athletes, by the way. They're young, they're kids, but they're professional athletes. This is their job. I don't know. Chris Paul, obviously very valuable. I think Derek White. I just think I would rather have Derek White on the team.
I think if we didn't have Steph Castle, you're looking at Chris Paul differently right now.
Yes.
But,
yeah.
And now potentially if you're looking at draft number 2, the talk right now is Harrison Barnes, right?
Dylan Harper.
Harper. But if you get him, I mean, you're kind of loaded in that area, and then you talk about moving maybe Castle to.
Well, that's a lot of weapons. Then you have then you could use that for a huge trade and whatever. So I don't know. There's a lot of interesting options.
So you're basically, if you had the $10 million and you had your pick, I mean, put your Brian Wright hat on, right? Mm-hmm. You're the guy. You're calling the shots. I mean, I got my team kind of set up. Who do you give the money to? And you got one guy you can slide in there. It's either Chris Paul or it's Derek White. And you said you're going with.
I think I'll go with Derek White. Yeah, I'll go with Derek White.
I'd make some room for Derek White.
Yeah,
you would.
Yeah, because Paul's done his job. If we keep him, even better. But he's done his job. He's done a lot.
But you can't keep him. He's either one or the other. Right. In this scenario.
Yeah, in this scenario, I go with D.
I think I would much rather win with Derek than Chris. Just in my opinion.
I'm going to be the only one that goes the other way. Not because, I mean, Derek White was great when his time here in San Antonio. The city loves him.
He's only gotten better, though. He's only gotten better.
He agreed.
He's a champion too. He's got a ring.
Yeah,
Chris Paul's never done this.
You know?
Yeah.
He's never raised it.
Yeah, I understand, but
I mean, obviously one of the
having
best point
having
guards of
that
all time.
other, I think, I don't know, man. Just kind of watching him, and you're right, he did coach on the floor. I mean, what a big asset it was for Mitch Johnson to have Chris Paul there, man.
Definitely.
And now Mitch has got the weight, which I think he'll be fine.
I think he'll be fine.
But I don't know, man. I probably would want to get one more year out of Chris Paul, because it's just having that other voice out on the floor, just give him another rookie, more
Think about
time.
it. Like, that was the voice we did not have in the past couple of years. And we've had some tenured Spurs guys that are on the team,
but
for
not
a
like
while,
Chris Paul.
and they don't have that voice.
Nah,
You know?
dude, when he walked into the room, I mean, you read the beat writers that are covering it, Tom Osborne and the other guy with the Express News. I mean, when he walks into the locker room, like, they're like, he's a senior guy. They're listening to
He
him.
reminds me of an Avery Johnson. It's like the floor general. You know, he just reminds me of the guy that's at the helm. And that's something the Spurs haven't had. There's some guys with this, I'm not going to name names, but there's some guys with the Spurs that have been with the Spurs for a while who I wouldn't mind moving on. Like, I wouldn't mind involving in that trade for somebody. You know what I mean? There's a trade to be made, I think. Can't hold on to everybody. There's been some guys on this team that have been on this team that haven't really made it happen.
Yeah. Well, we've got some guys now that, I mean, there potentially could be another trade out there for a big, I mean,
Just call Pop and ask him.
yeah, call it Jefe.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it on speed up. Can we put it on speaker?
Yeah.
Yeah, but man, I mean, exciting times. I mean, our trajectory is only looking up. I still think even with this number 2 pick, if they do pick Hapa, that we're still probably looking like our peak is going to be that 28, 29, 30 season.
So you're thinking Project Marvel time.
Yeah, could be that. Because by then you start looking at, if you look at it takes a superstar 6 to 7 years to win their first championship. It has. It's extremely rare. Can't remember who.
Tim got what, 1 year?
2 years.
Well, but, okay, but he came into an already pretty stellar team. But and this one on paper, they're all young, but it does take a while for them to develop that way. So, I don't know, man. I mean, it's those trades that they have or that they could make. Does it help them with that timeline? Are they thinking we're just going
Pop right there.
to keep
See?
these pieces? What's he saying?
Yep.
He's saying I'm on it.
He's on it. Ed Hefe's on it.
Yeah.
Saying
man.
go.
But it's an exciting time. But you got Houston's on the rise. I mean, Houston's beating on the door. Dallas potentially is going to be beating on the door.
Yeah.
The Texas teams are going to be
I just think Dallas is full of fumbles, so I'm not worried about them. You know what I mean? It's full of fumbles over there on that end. They don't know what they're doing.
yeah.
Have you driven by, talking about the Marvel? Have you driven by there lately?
Yeah,
How they have
almost
that?
every day. Yeah.
It's huge in there, right? They've already started.
Well, the Institute, right? They're tearing it
tearing it
down.
down,
I think there's a historical society.
put a block on it or something.
Well, I think they filed asking a judge to file it, just kind of put a halt for it for the moment. But
That traffic is going to be a nightmare when they do all that construction. Man, that's just
No one's thinking about that, right? No one's thinking about getting them out.
That's gonna be for what? What year are we in? It'll be for 3 years of just nonstop traffic. If you want to go downtown, it's gonna be a nightmare.
yeah,
But I mean, the upside.
I mean, it's already
Uber.
crazy as
Yeah,
it
it's really
is.
bad.
So, I mean, what's another 5 more years of it? But I love what I see. Just the drawing. I mean, again, it was just a drawing they put out there. How real it is, I don't know. They still got to figure out the financing part of it. I think they want to extend this visitor tax, basically. So what that means for folks is that you and I, unless we stay at a hotel downtown or something like that, but it's really the visitors that pay for it. This is the same funding mechanism that the county used to build the SBC Center at the time. that arena where essentially the visitors pay for it. So they just add a little bit more to the visitor tax. And it's within a 3-mile radius, I believe, that zone. So any kind of rental cars, hotel stays, the hope is they figure within the next 30 years, they make like $3 billion off of that. And that's how they can go out there and try to finance this project, which is projected right now at 1.5. It's going to cost more than $2 billion when it's over with, maybe more, But so
it's going to cost the LeBron James then.
Yeah, I mean it's going to cost a lot, but I'm sorry, but going back to it, I saw that drawing that they had, and I was trying to zoom in on it, and I go, wow, man, like they've got this land bridge, kind of like you have at Hardburger Park that goes over Mooresbach Parkway, but it's a bigger one, land bridge that goes over 37. So from the proposed new arena to the Alamo Dome, so there's a lot of things you could do there. And that means, the highway traffic's going to go under that, which is kind of cool. But then
is anything happening at Sunset Station?
Oh yeah, no.
There's things happening there still.
Yeah,
I don't hear anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's right there.
It's right there. I do it a little bit differently, but they got, they're doing their thing. But
Mark for mayor.
No, not for that. But then but you look at the Alamo Dome, and the Alamo Dome is probably one of the biggest assets the city has. Every big convention we get is because of the dome. Final Fours we get because of the dome. A lot of people say the dome's not doing anything. You're crazy, man. I mean, it is a massive. Yeah, it's a massive economic generator for our entire region, really. But it needs to be upgraded. And
what are the upgrades that you see that need to, like, number one, where would that money go, you think?
Man, but what I like about this with this land bridge, and just based on the drawing that I saw, I mean, if this happens, that'd be kind of really cool. And they're also talking about maybe extending that land to kind of go over the railroad tracks. The problem with the Alamo Dome is you can't go anywhere. You are locked in between the railroad tracks to the east and the highway to the west. The challenge, as we all know, when you go to the Dome is it's a narrow concourses.
Yeah.
And they expanded that. I mean, they've gone to the farthest they can go. And even at that, man, when I went to the Final Four games, I mean, you were packed. It was hard to walk through. Reminded me of walking through Nyosa, So if you expand that a little bit more, because now with this land bridges, maybe over the highway and maybe over the railroad tracks, I don't know how real that is, but I'm just looking at this drawing. If they expand it that way, I just think it gives you a lot more real estate to do a lot of cool things.
But it also takes away from the parking. There's not much parking at the Alamo
Well, there's
Dome.
not going to be much parking anyway. I mean, but I think that's, there's probably going to be more parking garages somewhere. Maybe that's under that new arena because they can always go down. I mean, you can always go down and build down, right? Build on top of that. And then, maybe there's a parking structure somewhere else. But
they need to bring us in on these meetings.
Well, Mark managed the Alamo Dome for how many years, Mark?
3 years.
What years were you there?
2010 to 13, I think, something like that.
Probably the best years of Alamo Dome history, I think.
I think so. I believe
Without doubt.
I believe
Thanks,
that.
Steve. No, but
the best concerts were during that time, and the best games were during that time.
Right.
Yeah, we started UTSA, man. That first year they were there, it was awesome.
Was
but I mean, they right now this is for concerts. I mean, the last 2 years, 3 years, there've been a lot of big stadium shows coming out, so that's what they're getting a lot of business out that way. But and that's another reason. If we don't have the Alamo Dome, we don't get those big concerts, man.
We don't get Bad Bunny.
But
Bad Bunny was good.
Well, just a couple of weeks ago, we had Post Malone and
why didn't I hear about that? Well, I would have gone to that.
I would have too, but I didn't know about it till the day after.
No, I would have stayed home.
Really? You're not a
what about
Posty guy?
what about we need to see if we could bring AC/DC here. They were in Dallas. They need to be here.
They need
Yeah,
to
bring them
come
out of
here.
retirement.
This is
Get their wheelchairs out.
the heavy metal capital, man, of the world. The ACDs needs to come to.
Who's the heavy metal capital?
San Antonio. Man.
We are?
Yes.
Who did that?
We're
looks
the heavy
like it.
metal capital of the world. Everybody knows that. You didn't know that?
I've been here for 34 years. I didn't know that.
We're heavy metal capital of the world.
Yeah.
That's how they.
I probably could have guessed that because you walk down the street.
Yeah. Well,
That's how old we are.
Yeah.
yeah, that's how old you guys are. You missed out on it. But no, I mean, so that's what I hope happens. But this Project Marvel, our community needs something like
Yeah,
this.
it's
No
bringing
doubt
so
about
much
it.
excitement back down to.
Yeah.
Remember when we had the arena and the Alamo Dome at
Yes,
one point? Did we
we
have
did.
that? Did we have both?
We did.
Right.
Yeah, we did.
And we would have something with the Spurs game at the.
What arena are you talking about?
Hemisphere Arena.
Hemisphere.
Oh, there you go. Hemisphere.
And so we had that, and while they were building the Alamo Dome, but it was just so cool because you went to a Spurs game, went right across the street to Hard Rock Cafe or to Champions, and everybody hung out downtown. No one left; they just went across the street.
It was great. You parked your car there, and
and
you
now,
parked your
when,
dinosaur
now at
there.
the Alamo Dome, when there's a game, everybody leaves, and there's nothing going on downtown.
yeah, and that so that whole Project Marvel changes all of that, and but it now gives the city more ammunition. It gives Jenny Carnes and her group more ammunition to go out there and try to get more Final Fours, and even if they're the Sweet 16s in the new facility, again. I also think this is a win-win for the county because a lot of people say, well, what's going to happen with the Frostbank Center there? I think they're going to have some great years because now it gives them more opportunity to book stuff that, maybe they bypass because of their sport tenants that they have.
What would that be? What would those events kind of be like that they're overlooking a little bit?
It's got to have a bunch of dates. So I mean, I would think that the San Antonio Livestock Exposition, the rodeo folks do more events in there. It gives the county the ability to do more concerts and other events in there. They could scale it, do different size configurations in that facility. It
opens it up. It opens the door up.
Yeah, that asset can go away.
Yeah.
And I hope that they don't negotiate something that says, well, all the big concerts got to go to the new building. No, the county is going to make full use of that facility as well as they should.
Yeah, I think we haven't, like our generation, we haven't felt that in a while since the Alamo Dome. And if you weren't around during those Alamo Dome days, you kind of don't feel that. You know what I mean? You kind of just feel like you were saying you're in and out. You know what I mean? There's nothing. There's no real excitement to a Spurs game besides the Spurs game. You know what I mean? Then you leave and you're out. But I remember those times where we're in traffic, going to and from Spurs games, right? Where that's a little bit of the excitement, right? Where you're in traffic and you're like, man, all these people are here for the whatever, right? It just kind of it kind of starts there.
After the games, everybody's honking down.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
After a good win, everyone's excited and it extends, you know what I mean? And you see people making that turn onto, what was it, going downtown towards like River Center Mall, and you see the line of cars
Commerce,
there.
Commerce,
And you just, I miss that, you know what I mean? That was before when I was young, and we didn't have that. We don't have that now. I think that's a good shot of adrenaline in the city.
Well, to your dad's point, to James's point, is that's what would happen after the Spurs games at the old arena, but then when they moved over to the Alamo Dome, people would park the downtown garages that they knew the traffic was going to be heavy getting out. They all flooded the different restaurants and bars and entertainment areas down there, for 30 minutes to an hour. Traffic died out, let's leave. And people made it home. So, again, I think it's win-win, man. I mean, we need to make this Project Marvel happen. We really do.
Definitely. Like we were saying, probably better sooner than later. But like you were saying, you want to do it right. You want to
Do it right.
do it all,
Yeah.
do it all
Yeah.
right. But
Do it right. And, I mean, city's got some smart people, man, that, our city manager is a smart guy and his whole team. And
that's his name, smart guy.
But they're and also the Spurs people, man. I mean, they're going to come up with a really good way to sell this to the voters.
Yeah. I feel like they've always had a good way of incorporating the city and people and all that. And, they have a good way of getting us excited.
I think if the facts are laid out correctly, if it doesn't get, opposition start throwing a bunch of, BS stuff, but if the facts are laid out correctly, that the voters will see this thing as an opportunity. Like, yeah, we need to do this.
Yeah. And that, like we said in previous podcasts, this is something our kids can enjoy. This is something like we can enjoy. We have a it's a longevity move. It's something that cements us and it's overdue. It's not like we're doing all these changes and here's a big one that we can kind of negotiate on. We haven't done an upgrade like that in a while. So like, why not? Why not do it now? For the future.
Yeah. Well, people talk about, hey, well, Houston does this and Austin does this and all these other cities are doing this. Why can't we? Well, we can. It's right here. We got to make it happen.
I always feel like San Antonio's been a little late to the change. We're very traditional, very cultural, very like, we kind of stick to what we stick to. And this could be a good idea to not change that, but to upgrade us a little bit. We're still going to be a cultural city. We're still going to be a destination, like a visitor's destination. We still have all the hallmark landmarks and all that. Right. So I don't see why not. That can't hurt. Yeah. It's not hurting our pocket at the end of the day. So what's the harm in it? I
mean, from the visitor standpoint, we still have the 2 top tourist destination sites in Texas. Mm-hmm. So, the Alamo and the Riverwalk. Yeah. And then, you get
the original donut shop on Fredericksburg.
That's a good spot. You can't forget about that one.
No. Always packed.
Yeah. Shout out to Maria y Conchita out there with those tacos. No, hombre. But your favorite, the tripas, right?
Yeah, pretty good.
When you're in an auto accident, you shouldn't be concerned with legal runarounds, just real advice. You deserve an attorney ready to work for you, an attorney that won't back down.
I've lost loved ones due to the negligence of others. If you or a loved one has been injured in an auto accident, I want to be there for you.
Raul B. Rodriguez and his team care about ensuring you and your family are represented, whether on the road or in the workplace. Raul is real, and Raul won't back down. Call 210-899-0300 to schedule a free consultation.
So 30 years old. I don't know if we've said it or not, but when you're fighting, after after the fight or after the win, what was your first meal? We've said it before, but what was the first? You're this guy. What was the first meal?
My favorite meal after fighting or after Luby's.
I was just gonna say Luby's.
Luby's enchiladas.
That's hometown.
No, back in the day when
you were making them.
When I was making them, well, actually, Mom and I both worked at Luby's when we were 15, 16 years old, whatever it was, and we worked there for about 3 years. But man, I saw the food being made, and we'd eat there all the time. But man, I just never got rid. I just love the enchiladas, rice and beans. After a weigh-in or after a fight, that was the first place I went to eat.
Yeah, enchiladas on the plate with the fried fish and Jello, and a nice warm glass of milk.
Something healthy.
But it was good, and I did that for years. I don't know how many years I did that. After a big fight, I would eat there. That was the first place I went to eat, and then it's not. It hasn't been the same, or I haven't
since you left.
Yes, since I stopped working there.
It was Luby's at North Star Mall, right?
No, that was one of them, and then
that was
at the beginning, Luby's at South Park on Military Drive.
Right.
That's where I used to work at.
Those are the.
Did you ever go to the Malt House, or the Texan?
The Texan, yeah, the Texan quite a bit.
That's Southside, no?
Southside, commercial and Military Drive.
Commercial.
Yeah, I've been there before.
Yeah, that was good.
So I think we all come to the conclusion: Spurs in 5.
Yeah? Spurs in 5. Yeah, let's write that down now.
What year?
Next year. What are you talking about?
Next year.
Next year?
It's always
Spurs
next year.
What are you talking about?
Oh my God.
It's always next year.
You guys, man. Spurs in 5. We'll see.
So there's a lot of exciting things going on. Boxing, Spurs. There's a lot to look forward to. This has been a great year. 2025 has been entertaining so far. You know what I mean?
We're only halfway through.
We're only halfway through. It's been entertaining. I'm looking forward to see the next half of this whole thing. Yeah. Y'all got any summer plans? I know we just made our small little getaway plan. We're going to Port A, but just for a real quick getaway. It'll be the first vacation that my daughter Odette is gonna have with us. It'll be kind of cool. But you got any plans for the summer?
Not yet. No.
No,
I almost did. I was trying to get a hold of your dad last night before this auction thing was going off, and then he didn't pick up the phone. I didn't want to bid on it until I talked to him.
What was it?
We'll talk about it afterwards. You guys,
I don't like that place.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, oh no, yes you do. Yeah. This place you do. But anyhow, Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna.
It's been hot. It's been getting hot in San Antonio. Like, of course, like always. But
that
man,
sun feels
almost
good.
like last year.
I love that sun.
It's almost like last summer.
Yeah. But that's what's going to happen. I mean, those that don't think global warming and all this stuff is not happening. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know how much more proof you need. But so they're saying in 20 years, this temperature that we're having the last few days, which, by the way, we went through this heat wave here.
Who's they?
The scientists.
Science. Bill Nye.
Huh?
Bill Nye said it. Bill Nye.
Bill Nye, but the science guy.
The science.
No, it was Captain Kangaroo and company. But no, they were saying that this is going to be considered a mild days, like mild summer, and that our summers here in South Texas, we're probably looking at temperatures close to 120, if not maybe a little bit hotter.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we're going to adapt to it. Clothing's going to change. I mean, we just do. It's part of the evolution
Walk
of
around
man,
naked.
It'll be
It's a
like
leaf.
Arizona, but we have the humidity here, so it'll be a lot worse.
right? Yeah.
That's what I keep thinking about. I'm looking at my daughter, right? She's 2 months old, and I'm thinking, man, it's gonna be a different world when you're on Mars. You ain't gonna be here. Like this person's going to Mars. They're gonna live on Mars. Like, you know what I mean? It's such a different.
It's gonna be cooler in Mars than it will be here.
Yeah, you know. No, I'm excited about it.
Maybe
It's
they'll
gonna
have
be
a
cool.
retirement home in Mars. We can go check it out.
Yeah.
Right?
So
They'll have your enchiladas and milk over there.
What's our retirement so far has been what? San Miguel, someplace like that?
Yeah, right.
We retire.
Mexico.
Mexico retire.
Mexico.
In the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Aguascalientes.
Guys, we have a lot looking up, like ahead of this year. We have a lot that we're doing. Right now, I feel like we're inching at for the gym. We're inching at an idea of trying to open up a new one. We're looking for a new spot. We're trying to find something downtown. That's where all the action is. We're trying to be downtown, Southtown. We're trying to go back to the South Side. We're trying to find a gym that's there. Like it right now, it just feels like it's hard to find the perfect spot. You know what I mean? It's hard to find a building that's going to accommodate what we want to do. And there's a lot going on with us this year. My brother and I are coming out with a clothing line as well. We have a lot that we're doing, you know.
This is something we're going to be able to buy at Academy, maybe? HEB?
Do you have the hookup?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
HEB, maybe?
HEB.
Speaking of clothing changing, we're going to try to come up with our own thing. We're brainstorming it right now. We're kind of finalizing a lot of these little ideas that we're trying to do. I've had a clothing line for 7 years, but at the same time, it's been kind of just a personal thing. Right now, we're trying to make it a little bit bigger, trying to expand that brand a little bit more. Y'all will hear about it as it develops, but I'm excited about this year. I feel like this year is the one where we're really locking in, like, as a family, as a foundation. We want to do more. The Red Carpet Brawl, it's about that time we start,
We gotta start recruiting guys.
You
We
gotta
got
start
some
recruiting
folks
people.
that they're kicking some dust thinking about it.
Yeah, we got some guys lined
I
up.
ran into a few guys last night. We'll talk about it here off camera. But yeah, some exciting stuff. I meant every episode we try to talk about mental health, which is one of the reasons why we did our foundation, right? What kind of feedback? I went back and I saw the Omar episode.
I have a story about
And
that.
I was like, God, this guy was he just like zipper opened up, another zipper opened up. He just peeled his
He
soul
put it
out
out there.
there.
He put it out
And that's one of those things. I knew it was going to be a good episode just because I know Omar. I know how open he is, and I know like there's no real filter there, you know? So I knew that it was going to be a good episode. But the reaction that I've been getting from these podcasts, just talking about yesterday, I was telling Uzi about it. Yesterday, I had a client come up to me who said that their parent watched the Omar episode.
Wow.
And they were saying how much they got from it. This is a Mexican mother, and how much she had gotten from it. And it didn't dawn on me until the son was telling me his mom got so much from it, but it's the same thing that he's been telling her about himself. But she kind of didn't get it until
It clicked.
when she heard Omar and us talking about it, which is almost similar to we're not listening to their parents because it's the parents, right? But when somebody else says it, it's like, oh, like I didn't know it worked the other way too. You know what I mean? Where the parent may not. Well, I guess I do know that, but like the parent may not listen to the kid. But when somebody else says it, who may be their age, or
I
whatever,
mean, again, you take away the emotional tie, and then now you start to think logically.
yeah,
So, I mean, again, it's if your parent says it or whatever, it's an emotional connection. I'm not gonna hear you. I'm gonna react a certain way, and then I won't hear what you're saying. But
Yeah.
you know, if I don't have emotional connection, then I'm just going to hear you for what you're saying and think more logically. So I'm sure that's what happened.
And that was just, it was so good to hear, because we get a lot. I don't know how y'all do it, but I get a lot of those messages sometimes. And when I heard that, when he came up to me and told me that, it reminded me of the reason why we're doing this. You know, even if that episode was just for him and just for his mother, we've accomplished something. You know what I mean? We opened up her mind to how he's gonna be. Maybe that we broke that wall down, and maybe she believes what he's saying, and maybe she's watching this right now. And if you're watching this right now, thank you so much for, you know, you're just sharing that with him. You know, he was like, I was still trying to watch the episode, and she saw it all. She was breaking down everything that Omar was saying and all this. And I was like, man, there's people listening to this, you know, and like this isn't just putting it out there and hoping somebody listens to you. There's people listening to this. It's hitting the
I would
right
just
people.
encourage everyone, just if you haven't, go out there and please view this episode. And if you did and you watched it for a few minutes and you put it down, I'll get back to it. Just go back and watch the whole thing. That was gold, man. And I just saw it again the other day, and I was like,
I feel like this podcast is very ahead of very ahead of its time. We're knocking down walls, and we're confronting ideas, and
that's what happened. That wall was knocked down with the lady.
This is a Mexican household that it's coming from. You know what I mean? And I love that. You know, this is for everybody, but
we're achieving the goal.
We're achieving the goal, person by person, step by step, and you know that's what this is for. This is a foundation run podcast. You know what I mean? And we are mental health first. That's what we try to lead with, and it's so good to get that feedback that it is helping. You know, because it helps us too. But I know it. You know, not everyone who it's gonna affect is gonna talk. But it's good to hear that. You know what I mean? Have y'all gotten anything from this? Have y'all gotten?
I get this a lot where people say, "Man, I saw your podcast. Man, it hits home sometimes," or you know, whatever. Just a very, very good podcast. The message was put out there. Thank you, or whatever. I get that a lot.
I feel like every episode has a really good message somehow. You know, and there's always something you can gain from it. You know, and you know, my client says sometimes you hear a podcast and they're not talking about anything, and it's like trying to clean up. It's like trying to pick up a turd from the clean end. You know what I mean? And he goes, "Y'all's is so good. Like y'all's, is, you know, it has substance to it. You know, there's things that I can take away from every episode, and I love hearing that. You know, this is not. You know, I know we don't see it as a waste of time, but this is definitely. I want to let y'all know, you know, it's definitely hitting people.
Yeah. Well, that's you hit the nail on the head. You just said it. If it helps at least one person, man, we did good for the week, right?
Yeah. Definitely. You know,
and we kind of move on and we go from there. But I know we got some exciting guests in the near future. Mm-hmm. Hopefully some more athletes.
We've reached out to a couple of the Spurs, waiting to hear back from them. They're in the off season, they're traveling, so it's kind of hard to lock them in. Even if we go on Zoom or whatever, it's kind of hard to lock them in while they're traveling. There's a lot that we've reached out to. We're going to see where we fit in their schedule. But you know, there's a lot to look forward to. This is just the beginning. We're within our first 20 episodes. You know, this is very young for a podcast. You know, we're getting our groove back. Not getting our groove back. We're getting in our groove. You know what I mean? So we're kind of learning how this all goes. We've been doing this for a while. And I'm excited to see where all this goes. The more, you know, San Antonio is only getting bigger. It's getting more, you know, with the Spurs coming in, with the boxers that are highlighting the city. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people to talk to right now. You know, hopefully we get a couple of boxers from here in town that want to come in, maybe share their experience in mental health as well. You know, Omar set the standard for that. You know, and Bam Rodriguez too. Like, he's not a big speaker, but for our first episode, it was really good. You know, it was.
I'm telling you, I think we go remote, Uzi. We go remote. We can do one camera. You know,
get Uzi over here. Get him on the.
Yeah, on the and then we him and Jason, and we'll go remote. Let's go to 8 Ball Coffee. Mm-hmm. We'll go to Bam's house, man. Drink some coffee with him, and we'll just talk.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I mean, for me on a personal note, I just want to thank everybody who takes the time to view even a minute of this podcast. You know, we work really hard behind the scenes to make sure that we're bringing y'all some good content, something with substance. It's not just y'all watching us talk about whatever. You know, even the episode with our wives, there's a lot that you can get from that, of how we interact with each other as a family, the kind of family that we have, the company we keep. I always say the way you do anything is the way you do everything, and this is an extension of that, of our gym, our potential clothing brand, the podcast, the foundation, the Red Carpet Brawl. We do so many things, and we try to do it. The golf tournament coming up in October. We try to do so many things with class. We try to do so many things the right way that we hope that it translates over to what y'all are seeing. You know what I mean? There's so much to get from these podcasts, and I appreciate everybody who's watching it, who's allowing us to do these. You know, I get a lot of feedback. I hope y'all do too. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm looking forward to the rest of this year. This has only been the first half of the year, and it's already been great. We have a lot more to talk to, a lot more coming up, a lot more people to talk to, a lot more subjects to cover. But if you like this content, like I always say, please comment, like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I know I got 3,000 people who follow me on Instagram right now. It's not a whole lot, not as much as other people, but come on, you know what I mean? Like we're growing slowly as a podcast, and that's how it goes. I think that's how it starts. But man, if I got 3,000 people and if you got close to 10,000 people, like let's just get.
You know what?
going.
I just remember this.
You know?
I should probably call my friend Kendall Jenner and just have her give us a shout out.
Why
Might
not?
be cool.
You know, she seems cool.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget Raul.
Yeah,
Gotta
Raul
thank him.
Rodriguez. If you're
Gotta
in
thank
an
him.
auto accident, Raul Rodriguez, he's the guy.
He's the guy.
The
And I know that
sponsor of this
he's-
podcast.
he's
Man, he's
real.
awesome.
I know that he'd help you out, and you know why?
Yeah, because Raul is real.
Because he's real.
He's a real dude, man. He's a cool guy. I mean, Dean and I know him, and he's part of our nonprofit organization, Rafael Consejos, and yeah, he's all about helping out our community.
Shout out to Raul, day one sponsor. If you like to have your company, you know, sponsoring the podcast, the gym, anything that we have going on, the Red Carpet Brawl, that's going to be coming up, the Leija Family Foundation, please reach out to us. There's tons of ways to get to us, and we're not hard to find at all. Please reach out to us for any opportunity you might think, any collab opportunity, other podcasts that you want to, other podcasters, if you're watching this, any collab opportunity you want to do, we're open for it, man. We're an open book. We don't mind. You know, we
San
don't mind taking
Antonians
it.
helping San Antonians.
San Antonio guys helping San Antonio. We're all about that. Thank you guys for watching. As always, be on the lookout for more Leija Lounge podcast episodes. We're not done. We're not going to stop. This is only getting better. We're enjoying it more. Hopefully you guys are too. You know, stay tuned for other episodes. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, that's it.
That's a wrap.
Boom.
Peace.